Hey. This is Nick the Non-Believer coming at you. I see do a little bit of a rant here because I really don't know what the thought process is, and there seems to be no cohesive strategy in the war room. And I need to come and give you a little bit of a fireside chat because I was getting to a little bit ago that once they made that trade, they traded down. I gave them that A plus because the Browns are in rebuild mode. But then the Browns forgot already that they were in rebuild mode, and then they seem to not really have a cohesive strategy. And that to me is something I need to rant about just a little bit here. Once they traded that pick down, they got a pick from in the future. They got a first round pick in 2025. That's great. But they only traded down 3 spots. So where is the master plan exactly? Once you're in that number 5 pick slot, where is the man genius in the room that tells you what to do for the subsequent action, the subsequent trade down? Because they ended up picking a player at 13th ranked overall in the number 5 slot. And I gotta say, that doesn't make a bit of sense. I think there must have been another trade on the table that never materialized, because if you are not able to draft better than a neophyte fantasy football player, then I'm not really sure how you got into the GM room. Once you're in slot number 5, what you need to do is you need to hold their feet to the fire, because everybody on this entire planet knows those Raiders, those West Coast Brownies, those favorite of SJB, of the SJB Sports Report, they wanted Gianti, and the Browns let Gianti walk for no apparent reason. This is actually driving me a little bit wild here. I have a fantasy football draft behind me here as the backdrop, and I know how to trade, and I know how to play hardball. So you take this football here, and you know the number for the GM of the Oakland Raiders. You call up the GM of the Oakland Raiders and you tell him, you're not getting Gianti for free. I will give you 1 of 2 options. I might respect you as a GM. I might even love you as a friend. But right now we're playing hardball. So what we're going to do is that GM from the Oakland Raiders, he's going to go ahead and send some picks my way. Otherwise, we're taking Gianti, and you ain't never going to get him. And everybody in the world knows that they wanted Gianti. It was telegraphed to the entire sports universe. The worldwide leader in sports knew it. That mock draft that came out the day before the draft, they even knew it. They knew that the Jacksonville Jaguars were slotted in to take Gianti at 5. And the Cleveland Browns came back into the number 5 slot, and they're supposed to take Gianti, and they didn't. So therefore, their trade, going down from 2 to 5, it went from that A-plus slot. You lost a grade there. Now you're down to a B. All right, fine. If you're going to trade down, and if you're not going to trade down again, and you're not going to play hardball, and you're not going to call up the Raiders, and you're not going to tell them that we got your guy unless you pay a king's ransom, just take Gianti there. We took a running back in the 2nd round. Why not take the best one available in the draft? Everyone talks about the generational talent. Everyone talks about missing out on Hunter. Oh, that 2-way player, that unicorn. Why is no one talking about Gianti? We don't have Nick Chubb anymore. We need a running back. Obviously, we got a running back. But why not get the best one? Why not get the blue chip player? Why not get it in the 1st round? Instead of waiting until all the way down the 2nd round, we got, all right, this guy's going to be good. It can be good, but he's not going to be no Gianti. And we need somebody with the wherewithal and the gusto to go to these other GMs around the league, hold their feet to the fire. We were in position. There's nothing else they could do at that point. Are the Raiders going to jump up and pay a huge premium to go number 3? No. You already know who's going number 3. You already know who's going number 4. The Browns are literally the only ones in position. 5. It's just so disappointing. I want to say that Andrew Berry is doing a good job. I want to say he's finding these deep picks, and we went and we reviewed them all, but he did not do a good job there. And I got to say, everyone's talking about these draft grades. I give the draft grade for the Cleveland Browns picking at number 5 and taking that stupid pick. I give them an F. And that drops their trade down, an entire letter grade down to a B. And then the master plan is supposed to be that we're going to come back around in the end of the first round and come back up to get our guy, get our quarterback, because we got to put something on the field. I mean, it's no Arch Manning, but is Arch Manning even a sure thing right now? You want to subject the fans to another dumpster fire season? You want to subject them to perhaps an 0-16? Come on, you got to get a quarterback. Why even do the trade in the first place if you're not going to come back up into the first round and get a quarterback? The Giants understood it better. The Giants were the ones that came up and got Jackson Dart because apparently he's better than Shedeur, which is fine. Shedeur, I would have been okay with it. But you don't even try to go up and make the trade. You got outboxed by the Giants of all people. They're counting on Madden scores in order to get their players. So here we go. In an alternate universe, maybe I was a Giants fan, and I'd be sitting pretty right now because the Giants know how to evaluate talent. They know that you're going to get Abdul Carter, and he's going to be the second coming of Myles Garrett. Perhaps, maybe a Myles Garrett light, but the Browns come in and get Abdul Carter light, which is already a Myles Garrett light. You get the light. You're getting the ultralight beer that's got no alcohol in it. That's what the Browns picked at number 5. The ultralight beer. You might as well be drinking NA beer. That's like the Abduls of beer that we got right there. That's what I think of that pick. I think that pick's got no teeth. I think that pick is not going to do anything for us because you know what we picked last year high in the draft? We picked a tackle. You know what the year before we picked high in the draft? We picked a tackle. You know what the year before we picked in the draft? We picked a tackle. No, I'm not on repeat. Tackle. And we're playing tackle football, but you need more than a tackle. You could have paired Abdul Carter with Myles Garrett. You could have been running rampant. You could have been taking it to the opposing quarterback because we don't got a quarterback to speak of because we don't know how to fix that at the end of the first round. We got outplayed by the New York freaking Giants. That is just sad. And then to come around to the second round, you got the first pick, and you also got another second round pick, and it seems like a whiff. And it is just very frustrating. There is no plan in place. If you're going to tank, fully tank. You can't just trade from 2 to 5 and then pick someone that was supposed to be 13th. You need to trade down from 2 to 5, 5 to 6, and maybe down farther. You need to put full-on rebuild mode because we already made so many stupid decisions that we cannot recover from, and we will not recover from this year. So we're halfway tanking, we're halfway stanking. How many brownies and how many frownies? And I just had to come on here personally because I needed to get it out here. It's just been frustrating me all day and all day yesterday that you come in. This is one of the most consequential drafts that the Browns have had. I mean, obviously, they didn't have a first-round pick for the past 3 years, so you finally get your first-round pick. You know when the trade is going to be happening for weeks, and you still somehow, you take a big fat dump on the bed. How? How can you know about this for so far ahead of time and still screw this up? It's impossible unless you are playing with less than a full deck of cards. So I have no solutions for you. The solution I have for you, the only solution, bring me in there. I can fix it for you. I swear to God. I will not make these bonehead decisions. I know how to put 2 and 2 together and make it 4. Instead of what you do, put 2 and 2 together and make it 2 really bad second-round picks and screw up the first round, and maybe you're going to screw up the third round too. What am I watching here? When are we going to get to the playoffs? When are we going to get to the Super Bowl? Because I was saying it was going to be 2032, but now, is it even going to be 2032? When Deshaun Watson came and graced us with his presence, I said that's a 10-year clock that starts. A 10-year clock when the Browns will never be good again until we've wiped the face clean from all of this ridiculousness. But now do you want me to keep pushing back the clock? 10 years? 15 years? 100 years? When is it going to be enough? When are we going to get good again? Brownies, when is it going to be time? Oh, yeah. Well, that's been a little bit of a saucy rant from Nick the Non-Believer on Dog Fight Sports. And we're still on Shedeur Sanders watch, so I guess we're going to have to come back in for the third round, but I just had to get one for myself, and we'll be seeing more of Red Hot Scott, maybe some more guests in a little bit. Play me out, Scotty.